Hi, I'm Tonia Caruso. Welcome to COMCAST Newsmakers, making our communities better for 100 years. Joining us in our studios this half hour is Kristy Trautmann. She's the Executive Director of the FISA Foundation, and we thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Oh, thank you for this opportunity.
Well, really an important part of the community, and let's begin by telling folks a little bit about your story.
So FISA Foundation is a grant-making foundation. We support nonprofits in southwestern Pennsylvania that improve the lives of women, girls, and people with disabilities. But this year is particularly special to FISA Foundation because we're celebrating our 100th anniversary. Our predecessor organization was actually started in 1911 by the graduates of girls who had been to independent schools, private schools, who really wanted to work together to make a difference in the community. This was a time when women couldn't vote, women didn't really have structural political power, but they wanted to do something that would change the community. And so they were really concerned about, at that point, working women who didn't have the social safety nets that exist today. And that many of them, if they had a baby or had an accident, had surgery, afterwards would need to go back to work almost immediately, whether they were actually fit to do that or not, and that lots of the moms and lots of the babies died. And so they wanted to do something, and what they did was pioneer in the Pittsburgh area convalescence. And so that was a concept that had started in New York. They brought a convalescent home to Pittsburgh and really were very proud of their work to provide this safety net for very vulnerable women and their babies.
And so then over time, you have really grown and evolved from that mission.
We really have. So that's the first life of FISA. The second life of FISA is that the safety nets changed over a period of time, and so in the 1950s, there wasn't the need for that anymore. So what they did was to form Harmerville Rehabilitation Center, which lots of people know. It's really nationally, internationally known for rehabilitation. And that ran really through the 90s until in 1996 it was sold. And the proceeds from that sale formed FISA's endowment. And so today we continue that charitable work by improving the lives of women and girls and people with disabilities.
And why those areas in particular, clearly rooted in the history, but why even today are helping those two groups so important?
Well, FISA's mission has really always been about tending to the needs that are often overlooked for some of the most vulnerable people in our communities.
Right.
And so I guess one good illustration of that work is over the last 10 years, we've really been focusing on healthcare access for people with disabilities. So if you think of the last time you went to the doctor's office, oftentimes there's sort of a maze of hallways and narrow doors, and then you go in, you have to hop up onto an exam table, and for some appointments you need to position yourself in uncomfortable ways. And that's really challenging for somebody who uses a wheelchair or uses a walker, has mobility difficulties. And so in 2000 we found that there were many women who, if they couldn't stand up, couldn't get a mammogram. If you couldn't hop up onto an exam table, some women had not had access to basic preventative women's health care for 20 years. And that even though many people with disabilities were seeing specialists for appointments, nobody was asking them about, did they smoke? What was their diet like? Were they exercising? Really basic elements of health care. And that we really want the community to remember that people with disabilities are people first.
Right. Such amazing work. And what do you want to say to the people at home about, as you continue this looking for solutions, how they can get involved?
So FISA Foundation does make grants to nonprofits in southwestern Pennsylvania, and all the guidelines for applying for those grants are on our website. We're particularly interested in projects that address systemic solutions.
Well, we thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today. We certainly do appreciate it. Congratulations on celebrating 100 years.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm Tonia Caruso. Thanks for watching COMCAST Newsmakers. We'll send you back now to HLN.